Welcome to this special class of mine. I'll be taking you on the subject Christian Religious Studies. Now, I'm sure you're familiar with most of these topics, or most of these questions, but I'll be giving you a little explanation that will further your understanding. Looking at this question here, question 1, we have God told Solomon that he would surely tear the kingdom from him and give it to his dash A. servant, B. son, C. brother, D. army commander. Now the answer to this question is servant. Now, according to the account of 1 Kings chapter 11, after that Solomon has disobeyed God and worshipped other idols against the commandment of God, you notice that God now made this proclamation that he was going to tear the kingdom away from him, not in his own dispensation, not when he was still alive. This happened when his son was now the king of Israel and both Judah. But after the division, the man Jeroboam was now given the kingdom of Israel, and the son of Solomon retained only Judah. Now, Jeroboam was the servant of Solomon. According to the same account in 1 Kings chapter 11, we were told about Jeroboam, how he was so hardworking and industrious, and even Solomon himself made him the commander of the task force. So it was in that time that the whole kingdom began to be apportioned to him. But when you read the account, you get to know it more. So we're looking at the second question here. And the second question here, as you can see here, we have the Lord sent Samuel to Saul to go and destroy the Amalekites because A. they were idolaters. B. their land had been given to Israel after the battle. C. they disobeyed God. D. they opposed Israel on their way out of Egypt. Now the answer is D. They opposed Israel on their way out of Egypt. I know most of you might be thinking that the correct answer should be they were idolaters. Why? Because they worship other gods, and this is what God really hates the most rather. Now the answer is not this. Why? Because if you read according to the account of Exodus chapter 17, you will see where the Bible made an emphasis on the fact that after Israel had left Egypt and crossed the Red Sea, the first nation that attacked these people of God, Israelites, was the Amalekite. And since that day, the wrath of God, the anger of God has been upon them. And that was why the first assignment that was given to Saul after he was established as king was to go and wipe out the Amalekites. Remembering the word of God since Exodus. But because you know the story now, Saul couldn't do that, and eventually it led to the destruction of his kingdom. Now, but the main point here is that the answer is because they opposed Israel out of Egypt. When they were coming out of Egypt, that was the main issue. So we'll be going to the next question. Pause. Now, moving forward to the next question, which is question 3, we have it here. It says, Moses fled Egypt to the land of Midian because A. his countryman asked if he would also kill him. B. he was afraid that his crime would be made known. C. Pharaoh wanted to kill him for the crime he had committed. D. he had killed an Egyptian and buried him in the sand. The answer is C. Pharaoh wanted to kill him for the crime he had committed. Now, I'm sure that these answers, these options look similar, but once you look at the question, it says Moses fled Egypt to the land of Midian because there's a reason why he fled, which was because Pharaoh wanted to kill him. Other options happened in the account. If you read the book of Exodus chapter 1 to 3, other options took place. But the reason why he fled was because he found out about the plot of Pharaoh to kill him. Now, moving to the next question, we have question 4. It says, why did Joab kill Abner? A. he was an enemy who came to spy on David. B. he wanted to avenge the death of his brother. C. Abner only came to deceive David. D. he feared that Abner would take over his post. The answer is B. he wanted to avenge the death of his brother. Now, I'm certain that this question looks strange because if you're not a Bible study, you must have not come across this story. It's a very rare story. If you look at the account of 2 Samuel chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3, you will find out where this particular incident happened. It was a war between Joab and Abner. And remember, Joab was the commander of army in the house of David, while Abner was commander of the army in the house of Saul. And there was a war that transpired between them in 2 Samuel chapter 1 and 2 that led to the death of Joab's brother. It was a honorable death. Abner killed him in battlefield, so there was no malice in him in the form of the death. But Joab, being angry about the whole issue, plotted against Abner and also killed him, even after the war was finished, the war was over, which led to similar other story. If you read the account of 2 Samuel chapter 1 to 3, you will understand it better. Move to the next question. We'll be moving to the next question now, and we have here question 5. It says, now therefore lighten the hard service of your father upon us, and we would serve you. This request was made to Rehoboam because A, the people wanted some relief. B, the people had another person in mind. C, of an impending revolt. D, the people wanted to test his wisdom. The answer is A, the people wanted some relief. As you know the story of Rehoboam here, he was the succeeding son of Solomon that took after the throne of Israel as a king. Remember that in the previous chapter, the Bible made us understand that Solomon imputed heavy tax on the people, and after his death, his son continued with the heavy tax. So when the people came to him, they wanted some relief. That was why this request was made, to lighten the load on them. I believe that answers it all. We'll move to the next question now. We have question 6. It says, when God told Abraham that Sarah would have a child, Abraham laughed because A, he already had a child by Hagar. B, he was amused by the promise. C, his wife Sarah was barren. D, his wife was too old to have a child. The answer is D. His wife was too old to have a child. As we already know, these options looks very similar because his wife was also barren. Of course, he was amused, and of course, he already had a child. But the reason why the answer is D is because he thought within himself, according to the account of Genesis, that his wife was too old, and when he had that discussion with God, that was the thought in his mind, and the answer goes to his wife was too old to have a child. We'll move to the next question. All right, moving to the next question, we have question 7. Here it says, Joseph called the name of his firstborn Manasseh, meaning God has A, made him fruitful in the land of his affliction. B, rescued him from the hands of Potiphar. C, made him forget his hardship and his father's house. D, made him not to forget his brothers and his household. The answer is A, made him fruitful in the land of his affliction. If you read the Bible according to the account of Exodus, you begin to see where the life of Joseph was elaborated, and God actually made him to be fruitful in the land of affliction after he was sold out by his brethren to the Egyptians. So when you go through that story, you will get to know it better. Move to the next question. Question 8. You are the man. This statement by Nathan made David immediately dash A, order him out of the palace. B, confess and ask for forgiveness. C, abdicate his throne. D, order the killing of the child. The answer is C, confess and ask for forgiveness. This was when David, being the king of Israel, had committed adultery with the wife of Uzziah, that is Bathsheba. And what happened is that after doing that, the Lord sent Prophet Nathan to come and query him on the matter. And immediately after the questioning came, the order from God came from Prophet Nathan. He confessed and asked for forgiveness. So the answer is B. We will now move to the next question. Now moving forward to the next questions, we have question 9. It says, In the creation story, man was permitted to A. Name all the creatures, B. Plant fruit trees for food, C. Make garments of skin, D. Water the garden. The answer is A. It says name all the creatures. I know that this question is very easy. That was the first thing that man did after he was created and God has given him dominion over everything. God brought all the creatures to him and he was able to name everything in the account of Genesis. Now move to the next question. Question 10. It says, one of the consequences of Saul's disobedience was that A. The Philistines killed him, B. His armor bearer killed him, C. He killed himself, D. The Amalekites killed him. The answer is B. His armor bearer killed him. Now if you remember the story of how Saul was fighting the battle and he was overwhelmed in the battle and he was fleeing from the battle and being injured as well, he begged his armor bearer to take his life because he could not take his life by himself. Even though the armor bearer insisted, saying that how can he take the life of his master? But upon the insistence of Saul, he took his life. So the armor bearer killed him, not the Philistines, not himself, not the Amalekite. The armor bearer killed him. Thank you very much.